the United States was a nation on the move. World War II had ended, and the 1950s ushered in an era of optimism, innovation, and transformation. Join us on a journey back in time to explore the everyday life of the 1950s in the USA. The suburban dream. In the 1950s, suburbs were booming. Families across the country flocked to these quiet, tree-lined streets with white picket fences. The American dream was embodied in the neat lawns, two-car garages, and cozy homes. Dad went off to work, often in a shiny new car, while Mom tended to the household. The television revolution. Television was the centerpiece of family life. In the evening, families gathered around their television sets to watch shows like I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, and The Twilight Zone. It was a window to the world, bringing news, entertainment, and culture into living rooms across the nation. The drive-in diners. The 1950s was the heyday of drive-in diners. Car hops served burgers, fries, and milkshakes, while patrons enjoyed their meals in the comfort of their automobiles. This dining experience was both convenient and uniquely American, fostering a sense of community among car enthusiasts. The rock and roll revolution. The sound of rock and roll filled the airwaves, with legends like Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, and Buddy Holly taking center stage. Teens across the country swayed to the rhythm of this new music, and it played a pivotal role in shaping youth culture and rebellion. Trusting neighborhoods. In the 1950s, neighborhoods were close-knit communities where people looked out for one another. It wasn't uncommon for a mother to send her child to the local store to buy a pack of cigarettes, attaching a simple note with the money. The child would confidently walk down the street, knowing they were safe among familiar faces. Children at play. Children in the 1950s enjoyed a sense of freedom that's often nostalgic. They spent their afternoons playing hopscotch, riding bikes, and exploring the woods without the constant worry of stranger danger. It was an era where kids roamed their neighborhoods, making friends and creating adventures. Teenagers and malls. For teenagers in the 1950s, the mall was a hub of excitement. With the advent of shopping centers, they had a place to gather, sip on milkshakes, and listen to the jukebox while socializing with friends. It was a time of innocent fun, cruising in cars, and dancing to rock and roll tunes. A day at the beach. In the summertime of the 1950s, families would flock to the beach to escape the heat. Children built sandcastles, while parents relaxed on colorful beach blankets, the smell of sunscreen in the air. Beach ball games, picnics, and ice cream vendors created an atmosphere of joy and togetherness by the shoreline. Neighborhood backyard get-togethers. Summer weekends in the 1950s often meant backyard barbecues and gatherings. Neighbors came together for cookouts, sharing stories and laughter. Kids played games of tag while the adults sipped lemonade and enjoyed classic tunes on the radio. These backyard get-togethers were a true embodiment of community spirit. Sports fever. The 1950s were a decade of sports fervor in America. Baseball, in particular, held a special place in the hearts of many. Families would gather around the radio to listen to their favorite team's games, and kids collected baseball cards of their sports idols. On weekends, ballparks were filled with cheering fans, and heroes like Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays captured the nation's imagination. Sports were a source of excitement and camaraderie in the 1950s. The passion for baseball, in particular, united people across generations and backgrounds. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the thrill of the game were all part of the sports craze that made the 1950s an era to remember. Drive-in movie theaters. Families gather in their sleek, chrome-adorned cars at the local drive-in theater. Children, dressed in poodle skirts and greaser jackets, munch on popcorn while parents adjust their radio dial to tune into the movie's audio. The massive outdoor screen comes to life, and the collective excitement of the audience fills the air. It's a magical cinematic experience under the starry night sky. The birth of the credit card. A financial revolution was quietly brewing. At a local department store, a customer stands at the checkout counter, ready to make a purchase. Instead of cash or checks, they confidently slide a small, rectangular piece of plastic known as the Diners Club card through the machine. This moment marks the birth of the modern credit card. It transformed the way people shopped and managed their finances, eventually paving the way for the widespread use of credit cards we know today. The idealized family. The 1950s idealized the nuclear family, with a breadwinning father, a stay-at-home mother, and well-behaved children. While this image was prevalent, it didn't represent the diversity of American families, but it remained a powerful cultural symbol. As the 1950s came to a close, it left behind a legacy of hope, innovation, and challenges. It was a decade of contradictions, marked by both progress and resistance. The American dream was more attainable for some than others, and it set the stage for the social upheavals of the 1960s. In just one short decade, the 1950s managed to encapsulate the essence of post-war America, showcasing a nation in transition, striving for greatness, and poised on the brink of a new era. How about you? What do you miss the most about the 1950s?